His hands shook when he saw her name on the old envelope, a name he once loved, then pushed away without a second thought. The house was quiet, too quiet. As if the walls still remembered the night she walked out with nothing but tears on her face. He thought she was gone forever, broken and forgotten. But life has a way of turning silence into storms. And soon, he would learn that the woman he once ignored had returned with a truth that would shake his whole world. Have you ever watched someone walk away and thought they'd never rise again? Tell us in the comments. It was a slow morning in the small, quiet town where Michael lived. He woke up the same way he always did, rubbing his tired eyes, letting out a long breath, staring at the ceiling like he was waiting for life to give him a reason to move. His house looked big from the outside, but inside it felt empty, like something important had been missing for a long time. He tried not to think about it, but some memories don't leave just because you push them away. His wife Alina used to fill this place with warmth. She used to hum while cooking, laugh at the smallest things, and talk about dreams he never cared to listen to. Back then, Michael thought she would always be there, no matter how distant he became, no matter how many times he chose someone else over her heart. He didn't realize how heavy quiet can feel until she was gone. After she left, life didn't fall apart in a loud way, it just slowly faded. The mornings felt colder, the rooms felt darker, and every mirror reminded him of the man he never wanted to admit he had become. Some neighbors whispered about him, some pretended not to see him at all, but deep down, he knew why everyone kept their distance. It wasn't because he cheated, it was because he never showed regret until it was too late. Now, every day felt the same. He went to work, came home, heated up simple meals, and sat alone at the table where her chair stayed empty. Sometimes he caught himself staring at that chair for a long time, wondering how a person can lose someone who once gave everything. But behind all that emptiness, there was something else, a strange feeling sitting quietly in his chest. Something was coming. Something he didn't see yet. Something life had been preparing him for without him knowing. And that feeling grew stronger when he saw the letter in his mailbox, the one with her name written in soft, familiar handwriting he hadn't seen in years. If you were in his place, what would you have done? Tell us in the comments. Michael held the envelope in his hands for a long moment, as if the paper itself carried a weight he wasn't ready to feel. Her handwriting looked the same, gentle, careful, almost shy, but something about it felt different now, stronger somehow. He didn't open it right away. He just stood there in the hallway, listening to the quiet hum of the fridge, the ticking of the old wall clock, and the soft echo of his own breath. It was strange how a simple letter could make a man feel small. Slowly, he walked to the kitchen table and sat down. The chair across from him remained empty, like it had been waiting for this moment. He placed the envelope on the table and stared at it. All the small mistakes he made, the lies, the nights he stayed out, the way he made her feel unimportant, came back to him like soft waves hitting the shore. He didn't know which part hurt more, the things he did, or the fact that he never apologized. When he finally opened the envelope, there was no anger inside. No blame, no pain thrown back at him. Instead, there was a short message saying she wanted to meet him. Just one simple line, but it changed something in him. His chest tightened, not in fear, but in something deeper. The feeling you get when life gives one last chance and you're scared you don't deserve it. For days after that, Michael moved through life in a strange fog. At work, he kept drifting away in his thoughts. People noticed, but no one asked. He didn't have many friends left, and the ones he had kept things polite, distant. Some still remembered the way he treated Alina, the way she left with tear-filled eyes. People never forget who hurt a good woman. But what surprised him most was the memory of her kindness. Even when he had ignored her dreams, even when he treated her like she wasn't enough, she still smiled at him. She still made him breakfast. She still tried to hold the pieces of their marriage together while he tore them apart. And now, she wasn't the same woman he once knew. The tone of her letter told him that much. She sounded sure of herself, calm, unshaken, almost like she had found something he never gave her. Peace. On the day he was supposed to meet her, he walked slower than usual. Each step felt heavy. His mind was full of questions he didn't know how to ask. Would she forgive him? Would she even look at him? Would she tell him she moved on? Or worse, would she show him how much better her life became without him? When he reached the small cafe where she asked him to come, he stopped outside for a moment. The glass windows reflected a tired man with guilt written all over his eyes. He took a deep breath and pushed the door open. And then he saw her. Alina was sitting near the window, but she didn't look like the woman he remembered. Her clothes were simple but elegant, her posture calm, her eyes steady. She looked like someone who had rebuilt herself from the ground up and done it well. Michael met Alina, bracing for anger, but found a room filled with quiet, healing power instead. When she looked at him, he saw not pain, but a deep, unexpected strength that made him realize the years he'd lost. Alina simply smiled, a calm smile that showed she had survived and grown. She presented a folder containing proof of her journey, successful businesses, community work, and a life she had built from nothing. Michael was overwhelmed. Seeing how she had turned her pain into an unstoppable life, the silence between them held no bitterness. In her eyes, he saw only quiet acknowledgement. She had become the person she was meant to be, independent of him. Michael realized his neglect and selfish choices had not only lost her love, but made him underestimate her true strength. He struggled for an apology. The truth hit him. This wasn't about him. It was about the incredible woman she had become. He left the meeting filled with profound regret, awe, and aching admiration for the strength he had wasted years being blind to. What would you have done? This truth was suddenly staring back at you. Tell us in the comments. Michael walked away from the cafe, carrying more than the weight of his mistakes. He carried a quiet understanding he had never felt before. The streets outside looked the same, but everything felt different. The sunlight fell on the pavement in the same way it always did, yet he noticed how it caught on the leaves, how it danced on the window panes, and how it seemed to whisper that life doesn't wait for anyone. He realized that Alina's journey wasn't just hers alone. It was a reminder of what could happen when someone refuses to let pain define them. For the first time in years, he understood that love and respect are earned, not given. That strength isn't measured by how loud you speak or how long you hold someone close, but by how you rise when the world pushes you down. He remembered the chair she had once left empty in their home, and now he saw it not as a symbol of loss, but as a space for growth, hers first, his later. If he chose to learn, days turned into weeks, and Michael tried to change, slowly and quietly. He began noticing the small acts of kindness around him, listening when people spoke, valuing moments rather than taking them for granted. Every interaction reminded him that empathy and attention could change lives, sometimes in ways you'd never imagine. He carried the lesson of Alina's strength with him, a constant, gentle echo that shaped his every thought and action. Her story didn't just affect him, it left a mark on everyone who had ever underestimated someone's potential. Every person who had ever thought leaving meant losing, and every heart that had been broken by betrayal. Alina had returned not for revenge, not to show off her success, but to remind the world, and Michael most of all, that resilience and self-worth are unshakable when nurtured with courage. And as Michael walked past the streets he had once known so well, he felt the truth settle deep within him. Change doesn't always come in grand gestures or loud confessions. Sometimes it comes quietly in the strength of someone who refuses to stay broken and in the hearts of those willing to see it. What part of this story stayed with you the most? Tell us in the comments, show some love with a like, and subscribe to stay inspired.